What if I told you that sharing your biggest dreams might be the very thing preventing them from coming true? There was once a village where everyone knew a man named Marcus, not because of what he accomplished, but because of what he promised. Marcus was a dreamer. Every few days, a new vision would light up his mind. A bakery, a workshop, a grand house on the hill. Each dream felt real to him, urgent even. But Marcus had one flaw that would cost him years of his life. Before lifting a single tool or taking a single step, he would announce his plans to the entire village. "Mark my words," he'd declare in the marketplace. "I'm going to build the finest furniture shop this village has ever seen." The villagers would gather around. They'd nod approvingly. Some would pat him on the back. Others would say, "We believe in you, Marcus. We can't wait to see it." And Marcus? He would walk home that evening feeling victorious. His chest swelled with pride. In his mind, the work was already half done. He'd earned their respect, their admiration. That night, he'd sleep deeply, satisfied. But when morning came, something strange happened. The fire was gone. The urgency had vanished. Why start now? He'd already tasted the sweetness of success, the applause, the validation. His body felt heavy. His hands felt useless. Days would drift by. The shop was never built. A month later, Marcus had a new idea: pottery. "I'll create pieces so beautiful," he announced, "that people will travel from distant towns just to see them." Again the crowd cheered. Again Marcus felt fulfilled. And again nothing happened. This cycle repeated for years. Dreams announced, applause received, nothing built, nothing finished. Marcus's hands remained empty. His life stood still. Slowly, shame crept in. He began to avoid people's eyes. Deep down, he knew the truth. He was a man of words, not deeds, and it was killing him inside. One evening, broken and confused, Marcus sat by the village well, staring into the water. An old man approached, a quiet elder named Thomas who rarely spoke but was deeply respected. He sat beside Marcus without a word. After a long silence, Thomas asked softly, "Why do you carry such sadness, my son?" Marcus exhaled. "I have so many dreams, but I can't seem to finish anything. There's something broken in me." Thomas tilted his head. "What do you do when a new dream comes to you?" "I share it," Marcus replied. "I want people to know. I want them to believe in me." Thomas's eyes grew gentle. "Come to my garden tomorrow at dawn. I want to show you something important." The next morning, Marcus arrived to find Thomas holding two identical seeds. "Plant this one," Thomas said, handing Marcus the first seed. Marcus knelt, dug a small hole, and buried the seed beneath the soil. He patted the earth gently over it. Thomas held up the second seed and called out to some children playing nearby. "Come, look at this. Soon this seed will become a magnificent tree. Isn't that wonderful?" The children clapped and cheered. Then Thomas placed the seed on top of a flat stone in full sunlight and walked away. Days passed. Thomas watered the buried seed in silence. He never mentioned it, never boasted, never announced what was happening beneath the surface. Marcus visited often. One day, a tiny green sprout pushed through the soil. Week by week, it grew taller. Still, Thomas said nothing. He simply tended to it quietly. Meanwhile, the seed on the rock, the one everyone had celebrated, withered in the sun. Birds pecked at it. Wind scattered its pieces. It never grew at all. After several weeks, a small but sturdy plant stood in the soil. The seed on the rock had completely disappeared. Thomas stood beside Marcus and spoke. "A seed needs silence to grow. It needs the darkness of the earth. It needs to be hidden, protected. When you leave it exposed and talk about it constantly, it dries up. It gets stolen. It never becomes what it was meant to be. Marcus stared at the plant, speechless. Something inside him cracked open. Thomas continued, "When you announce your dreams too soon, you experience a false sense of accomplishment. People's praise fills you up. Your mind tricks you into thinking you've already succeeded, so the hunger to actually do the work disappears. The energy you need for action gets burned up in talking." Marcus's throat tightened. He had been doing this his entire life. Every time he shared a plan, he felt like a success, but he never actually worked. The applause was enough. The attention satisfied him. He didn't need to finish, because emotionally he already felt finished. Thomas placed a weathered hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Dreams are fragile when they're born. Guard them. Let them grow in the dark soil of your effort. When the tree is strong and tall, the whole world will see it. You won't need to say a word." Marcus walked home in silence, his mind spinning. That night, he made a decision. He would try one more time, but this time he would tell no one. He chose something simple, a wooden chair, no announcement, no audience, just him and the work. Every evening after finishing his daily tasks, Marcus went to a quiet shed behind his house and worked with wood. Some days he felt inspired. Other days his hands ached and progress was slow. But because no one knew, there were no questions, no expectations, no pressure, just him, the wood, and the work. Weeks passed, mistakes were made and corrected, splinters, crooked joints, failed attempts. But slowly the chair took shape. It became solid, smooth, real. When it was finished, Marcus sat on it. For the first time in his life, he felt genuine pride. Not the hollow pride of applause, but the deep, quiet pride that comes from creation. A few days later, a neighbor noticed the chair outside Marcus's door. "Marcus, this is incredible. When did you make this?" Marcus smiled softly. "I've been working on it." The neighbor blinked. "You never said anything." "I wanted to finish it first." Word spread quietly. People saw the chair and were impressed. But by then, Marcus had already begun his next project, a small table. Again, he worked in silence. The table was completed. Then a shelf, then a bench, then a cabinet. Years went by. Marcus became known throughout the village as a master craftsman. But he never announced what he was building. He only revealed his work when it was done. People respected him more than ever, not because of his words, but because of his hands. His life had transformed. He no longer craved validation before starting. He no longer chased the empty high of praise. He had found something far more valuable, the quiet, unshakable satisfaction of building something real. Something real. So ask yourself, how many goals have you announced, only to watch your motivation evaporate? How many dreams have you shared too early, only to see them fade into nothing? When you speak your plans into the world prematurely, you give away your power. You let other people's reactions replace your own effort. You taste success before you've earned it. Keep your dreams close. Protect them like fragile seeds. Let your work speak when it's ready. The world doesn't need to know what you're building. It only needs to see what you've built. So the next time you feel the urge to announce your big idea, pause, stay quiet. Let the seed grow in darkness. When the tree is tall and strong, everyone will see it, and you won't need to say a single word. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your life will change the moment you stop talking and start building. Thank you for listening.